The glittering skyline of Manhattan sparkled under the autumn night sky, a constellation of glass and steel that screamed wealth and ambition. At the heart of this urban jungle stood the sleek, towering headquarters of Sterling Enterprises, a tech conglomerate that dominated the AI industry. At its helm was Ethan Caldwell, a 32-year-old billionaire CEO known for his razor-sharp intellect, impeccable suits, and a reputation for being as cold as the chrome decor in his penthouse office. Ethan was the epitome of success, born into privilege, educated at Ivy League schools, and now the mastermind behind a company that shaped the future. But beneath his polished exterior, Ethan was restless, haunted by the emptiness of a life defined by boardrooms and bottom lines. Across the city in a cramped Brooklyn apartment lived Mia Harper, a 25-year-old barista and aspiring artist. Mia's life was a stark contrast to Ethan's. Her tiny studio was cluttered with canvases, paintbrushes, and dreams she could barely afford to chase. She worked double shifts at a cozy coffee shop called Brew Haven, scraping by to pay rent and buy art supplies. Mia's world was one of struggle, but her spirit was unbreakable. Her paintings were vibrant explosions of color, reflecting a heart full of hope despite the odds. Their worlds collided on a rainy October evening at an upscale charity gala in Manhattan, an event Mia had only been invited to because Brew Haven was catering it. Dressed in a borrowed black dress that clung awkwardly to her frame, Mia felt like an imposter among the elite. She balanced trays of cappuccinos and pastries, dodging the careless elbows of Manhattan's high society. Ethan, in a tailored tuxedo, was there to make a perfunctory appearance, his presence a checkbox on his PR team's list to maintain his image as a philanthropist. Their first encounter was a disaster. Mia, distracted by a rude guest demanding a refill, bumped into Ethan, spilling a latte across his crisp white shirt. The room seemed to freeze as gasps rippled through the crowd. Ethan's piercing blue eyes locked onto Mia, his jaw tightening. "Watch where you're going," he said, his voice low and clipped, though there was a flicker of something, amusement perhaps, in his gaze. "I'm so sorry," Mia stammered, her cheeks burning. She grabbed a napkin, dabbing at his shirt in a futile attempt to fix the mess. "I didn't see you." "Clearly," Ethan replied, brushing her hand away. But as their fingers touched, a spark shot through him, unexpected and unnerving. Mia's hazel eyes, wide with panic, held a raw honesty he wasn't used to seeing in his polished world. For a moment, the noise of the gala faded, and it was just them. The moment passed. Ethan turned away, dismissing her with a curt nod, and Mia retreated to the catering table, mortified. But fate had other plans. Later that night, as the gala wound down and the rain poured harder, Mia found herself stranded outside, her ride having bylaid. Ethan, leaving in his sleek black car, spotted her shivering under the venue's awning. Against his better judgment, he rolled down the window. "Need a ride?" he asked, his tone more curious than kind. Mia hesitated. She didn't trust men like him, rich, powerful, untouchable. But the rain was relentless and her apartment was miles away. "Sure," she said cautiously, sliding into the leather interior of his car. The drive was quiet at first, the hum of the engine filling the awkward silence. Ethan, usually aloof, found himself intrigued by Mia's unpolished demeanor. She wasn't trying to impress him, wasn't fawning over his wealth or status. Instead, she stared out the window, her fingers nervously twisting the hem of her dress. "So you're a barista?" he asked, breaking the silence. "And an artist," Mia replied, a hint of defiance in her voice. "Not that it pays the bills," Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Art, huh, what kind?" "Abstract. I paint what I feel." She glanced at him, expecting a dismissive smirk, but Ethan's expression was unreadable. "Show me sometime," he said, surprising himself. Mia laughed, a soft, genuine sound. "You don't strike me as the art gallery type." "You'd be surprised," he said, a rare smile tugging at his lips. By the time they reached her apartment, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. Mia hesitated, her hand on Romda. "Thanks for the ride," she said quickly, opening the door. Ethan watched her dash up the steps, an unfamiliar warmth stirring in his chest. He shook it off and drove away, chalking it up to a fleeting moment of insanity. But the night wasn't over. Hours later, at a dimly lit bar where Ethan sought refuge from his restless thoughts, he saw her again. Mia was there with friends, celebrating a rare night out. Their eyes met across the crowded room, and something reckless took hold programmatically. Ethan didn't know what possessed him, but he crossed the bar and bought her a drink. One drink turned into three, and the conversation flowed effortlessly, her passion for art, his guarded stories of corporate life. The chemistry was undeniable, a magnetic pull that defied their vastly different worlds. One thing led to another, and they ended up at Ethan's penthouse. It was a night of passion, raw and unguarded, but when Mia woke up in his sprawling bed the next morning, reality hit hard. She was a barista. He was a billionaire. This was a mistake. She slipped out before he woke, leaving behind a scribbled note, "Thanks for the night." Let's pretend it didn't happen. Ethan stared at the note, a mix of frustration and longing swirling in his chest. He wasn't used to being walked out on. For days, he couldn't shake the memory of her laughter, her touch, the way she looked at him like he was just a man, not a title. Determined to find her, he tracked her down to Brewhaven, using the gala's catering records. When he walked into the coffee shop, Mia froze behind the counter. "What are you doing here?" she whispered, her heart racing. "I don't like being forgotten," Ethan said, his voice low and intense. Mia's coworkers watched with wide eyes as she pulled him to a corner table. "Look, Ethan, last night was a mistake. We're from different worlds. Different worlds don't mean we can't work," he said, leaning closer. "I haven't stopped thinking about you." Mia's breath caught. She wanted to believe him, but the gap between their lives felt insurmountable. "You don't know me, I'm nobody." "You're somebody to me," he said, his hand brushing hers. Over the next few weeks, Ethan pursued her relentlessly, showing up at the coffee shop, sending her art supplies, even attending one of her small gallery exhibitions. Mia resisted, afraid of getting hurt, but Ethan's persistence wore her down. He wasn't the cold CEO the world saw. He was vulnerable, funny, and genuinely interested in her art. Slowly, she let her guard down and their relationship blossomed. But their romance wasn't without challenges. Ethan's social circle, filled with heiresses and tycoons, looked down on Mia, whispering about her humble background. His mother, Victoria Caldwell, a formidable socialite, was particularly cruel, offering Mia money to disappear. Mia refused, her pride fierce, but the encounter left her shaken. One evening at a charity auction, tensions boiled over. Victoria publicly humiliated Mia, calling her a gold digger. Ethan, enraged, defended her, announcing to the room, "Mia Harper is the most genuine person I know, and I love her. If you can't accept that, you're not welcome in my life." The crowd fell silent. Mia's eyes glistened with tears, not of sadness but of pride. For the first time, she felt truly seen. Their love faced one final test when Mia discovered she was pregnant. Terrified, she confided in Ethan, expecting him to pull away. Instead, he dropped to his knees, his eyes shining. "Marry me, Mia. Let's build a life together." She said yes, and they married in a quiet ceremony in Central Park, surrounded by close friends and family. Mia continued to paint, her art gaining recognition, while Ethan supported her every step of the way. Their daughter Lily was born a year later, a symbol of their love, a bridge between two worlds. As they stood together in their Brooklyn loft, watching Lily sleep, Ethan wrapped his arms around Mia. "I never thought I'd find this," he whispered. Mia smiled, leaning into him. "Sometimes one night changes everything."